Hello and welcome back to the Radioactive Ramblings podcast, where we are back and jacked up on Buff Out, ready to ramble about episodes 4 and 5 of Fallout on Prime. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Richard. I'll be your other host today.
Richard, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Playing through Oblivion. But I had to cut myself off and talk about Fallout, which makes it sound like I'm not hyped, but I am hyped because what a batch of episodes.
Episode 5 was crazy, but before we get into it proper, we are going to be covering episodes 4 and 5 today. So episode 4 titled The Demon in the Snow and episode 5 titled The Wrangler. The title of episode 4 being a reference to the Deathclaw that Cooper sees, and the episode 5
5
title.
is the bar he's sitting in, right?
Yes, The Wrangler, or the full title of the bar and casino that he's in is the Atomic Wrangler, which is in Fallout New Vegas. Surprise, surprise, another New Vegas reference or location. And this is one of the 5 casinos that you can go into and gamble at in New Vegas.
Yeah, and in those casinos, I've heard it told the house might win.
Unless you have a high luck skill, and then you can just win at those blackjack tables so much that you get kicked out of the casinos.
I did not know that was a thing. That's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
it's actually, for New Vegas players, it's kind of like a rite of passage to get a high luck skill and get kicked out of all 5 casinos for winning too much, at least on one character. It's a little bit of a funny thing that people like to do.
I'll have to do that as soon as the totally real New Vegas remaster comes out. Please,
See,
Bethesda. Please.
I won't yuck your yum. I think maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it.
I'm sorry. We're gonna need to circle back. You're not gonna yuck my yum.
Yeah, you never heard that one before?
I have never heard someone say those words in that arrangement.
Well, we learn new things every day, just like we learn a whole bunch of new things about House and Barb and Cooper and the whole gang in the pre-war time.
Chicken fucker.
Chicken
We're talking about
yeah.
pre-war. Never mind. We do not learn about him in the pre-war.
I mean,
Not
you
yet.
never know.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. Maybe he's immortal. We haven't. Anything is possible in this show.
You know, he's kind of a stranger, and he's pretty mysterious. So
that would be maybe the greatest twist in Fallout history, is that the snake oil salesman, aka Chicken Fucker, is immortal and is the mysterious stranger.
I mean, how do you know he's not? Am I right?
We really don't know that he's not. We just have to find out more about this guy. One of the things that I really love about this show, while we're on snake oil salesman, is that could have been, like, for the episode 5 stuff that he was in, where he's being used by Hank to deliver a message, whatever. It could have been just any random person that they grabbed off the street, but the show wants to reuse these characters that we've had before and can kind of track, and I think that that's much better. It's so funny to see him.
A random person, or even if it was like someone that was in the game, I feel like that wouldn't be as good as it being someone that we've seen in the show, because like if it's someone from the games, we you have to have played the game, had to have met that character for them to for you to care, like beyond, oh my god, that guy just got his shit drilled into, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives us something to care about a little bit more. Not that him having his mind wiped is really like, oh no, this guy, poor him, because
it's not like emotional, but like he's a silly goofy guy that we've seen before.
Yeah, and he has a little date with another New Vegas character, Fisto.
Just assume the position, dude.
Please assume the position. I should have saved that for our outro this episode. I've been putting voice lines from the games at the end of each one of these episodes.
Oh, shoot.
I didn't know that we were actually going to get Fisto. I should have known that we were going to get Fisto. I should have known.
Yeah, that's like, I will admit, Fisto is one of the few things that I've known about New Vegas for a while, like that stupid robot, because of the fucking memes.
Yeah. And Fisto, actually, when we see him last, he's working at the Atomic Wrangler.
Yep.
Uh, but anyways, do you want to let people know how to get a hold of us if they want to talk to us about the snake oil salesman or Fisto or any of the other
Assuming the
wacky shit that happens?
position.
Yeah, if people want
Yeah.
to assume the position.
If you guys want to get in contact with us about all these wonderful things, the first and probably best way would be our email, radioactive@thelorehounds.com. We also have a channel set up for Radioactive Ramblings in the Lorehounds Discord server. You can send us a message, chat about the show. There is also, of course, the Fallout like threads. We have a general Fallout thread and then like episode by episode threads that Aaron's put up. So those are a great place to go and talk to. We have a contact form, or you could leave us a voicemail on the Lorehounds website. And consider giving us a follow on Blue Sky at Radioactive 141. And we would appreciate a reading, not a reading, rating, my bad, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you might listen to us. It just helps other people like you find us, and then, bigger community. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And before we get into it, any initial thoughts, or should we just dive right in? Because a lot happened.
Peak. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
What about you, dog?
episode 5 was my favorite. I maybe of the whole series,
Yeah,
definitely of this season.
but see, of this season so far.
Yeah, this did feel like the turning point because I'm not gonna lie, the first 4 episodes they were really entertaining. I loved them a lot, but it kind of felt like 4 episodes of setup, and now it's like we're getting into the meat of it. We're finally at the point where things are happening other than just them traveling across the wasteland. Like episode 4 had some real movement with the Brotherhood, and then episode 5 was some real movement with Lucy and the Ghoul.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement with Lucy and the Ghoul. They did some interesting stuff, but before we get into that, I guess we'll start off with the Brotherhood, right?
Yeah. So for the Brotherhood of Steel, a little brief here. Thaddeus poses as Paladin Harkness to keep the peace while Max confronts Elder Quintus. With the help of Dane, Max and Thaddeus run off with cold fusion, and tensions among the chapters gathered at Area 51 reach a boiling point as the Yosemite Elder takes a knife to the Coronado Elder's face and begins a Brotherhood civil war. She was justified. I
Yeah, this
He
was
had it
some
coming.
kind of wild, like, bloodbath type shit for a minute, though.
It really was. I mean, she did warn the Coronado Elder, like, cut it out with that sexist shit. And he wouldn't do it. So
Oh yeah,
can't say he wasn't warned. Yeah.
Deserved even, like, totally.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about this confrontation between Max and Elder Quintus.
Yes. So I just in general thought that this scene was amazing. Like, really well shot. They put their all into like the dialogue and everything. Like, great scene. I love confrontations like this.
Yeah, and it gave us a little bit more of Quintus once again using his manipulative shit, which we saw in past episodes, the whole shtick of "you're my son," and then immediately, whenever Max is doing something he doesn't like, that's just dropped, and he throws out that "you're my son, come on, we can build a better world together" one last time as a Hail Mary to try and get Max not to kill him. But Max is too good of a person and doesn't kill him.
Yeah, which thank God. But at the same time, I would have done it.
Yeah, and this is also the first time that we get a laser gun in this show that is actually shooting lasers, which makes me think it's probably an expensive special effect to make happen because we've seen laser guns, but they just shoot bullets, which is if you don't know that laser guns exist in Fallout, that shouldn't be something that bothers you, and it's not really something that bothered me. I was like, whatever, it's a gun is a gun, but the whole laser weapon in this scene was great, and you can tell there's a lot of weight to this scene, and that's why they decided to throw that in there.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like the whole line about like the kids that were abominate. No, they weren't. They're children. Leave them out of this, please.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Brotherhood philosophy of killing all mutants, that's what the Enclave want to do, and the Brotherhood view the Enclave as evil. The only difference is that the Enclave view any humans who survived the bombs as well as mutants. Anyone who has even been exposed to a fraction of radiation deserves to die in the Enclave's eyes. So the Brotherhood and the
Right.
Enclave, very thin line between the two of them.
Yeah, they're not like one's just a little bit further over. It's not really like there's a big divide between them, at least on that point.
Yeah. And do we think that if Max had killed Quintus, would he have had a tough time wrestling with that, or was it just kind of a spur of the moment? Like
I,
you're in the moment, you can't make it happen.
I think he would have a tough time because of the whole like you're my son, like the manipulation. Because even though like Maximus has to see it, like has to understand that he's being manipulated, it's still like kind of rough to go through, regardless of like knowing, not knowing what's going on, like what he's trying to do with you. I feel like he would probably be grappling with it for the rest of the season if he'd done it there. And I
For sure.
and I have a theory that maybe Maximus is going to kill him by the end of the season, kind of like overcome that in the moment manipulation that Quintus pulled last time. But like, I don't know. I think that if he kills him at the end of the season, I think that's going to be like his whole arc the next season.
Yeah. And we also got an added piece of information, which I don't think we knew this before, that Quintus is the one who found Maximus in the fridge after the
We did
explosion
not
of
know
Shady
that
Sands.
until that episode, yeah.
Which just adds this whole other element of like Maximus's whole world was ripped away from him, quite literally blown up before his
Yeah.
eyes,
And the
and
first
Quintus
friendly face he saw was Quintus.
exactly. Which, yeah, that just adds a whole other layer to their relationship that we didn't know about before, and definitely I can see why Maximus wouldn't want to kill Quintus, but kind of believe he deserves it just a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
this is why I like this show though. Like I love the idea of being able to say like if this was in the game, I would 100% be killing Quintus.
yeah, and that's the really cool thing about Fallout as a franchise in general is you're presented with these choices about how to proceed, and there's no clear right or wrong answer most of the time. It's just you have to follow your gut, you have to follow your own morals and decide what's the lesser evil here. What am I'm going to be doing bad things no matter what because this is the wasteland, the world is dead.
Yeah.
How do I proceed here?
Yeah, it's really it kind of reminds me of like the and I'm sure you get the same like the from The Witcher, like choosing the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, absolutely. Which
Peak.
so
Peak.
good.
I
Yeah,
know.
the Witcher
The
books, the
games and
Witcher
the
games,
books.
so good.
What about the show, Aaron? Is the show peak?
I, if you want to turn your brain off and watch a character you like do some stuff, then yeah, The Witcher is fine for that. But if you're looking for good writing or even decent writing, you're not going to find it in The Witcher. Sorry to any Witcher Netflix fans out there. I did like that spin-off that they did, the
The
Nightmare of the Wolf
yes,
animated one.
I still gotta watch the other one, but
Yeah,
I liked that. Like, oh my god, we're rambling.
we always do. That's what the people come here for.
Oh yeah. Well, like back to the whole in Fallout and really just Bethesda games in general. I feel like with like how your choices matter and how you want to like you don't know the outcome, so you're just gonna kind of go through and do your best. I was playing Oblivion today, and I did I chose not to help out the like eccentric guy in the one town, and then he ended up killing someone the next day, and I didn't help him because I was gonna go report him to the guards because that was also an option. I didn't do it fast enough though, and so like I don't know. I guess that's just like an example of like that as a whole.
Yeah, when you play a game or are watching a show and you see that the choices that you or the characters are making really matter. That's what makes an RPG. That's why Baldur's Gate was so good. That's why the Fallout games are so interesting, or at least most of them.
Yeah,
Um,
Fallout, the Elder Scrolls games, and dude, even though the game was not all it was cracked up to be, Starfield had some good moments with like a lot of the choices mattering.
yeah,
They didn't miss on the story points for Starfield.
yeah, I would agree with that. I think especially some of the side factions were pretty well done, like the pirates and all of that.
Oh
That
yeah,
was the most fun part of the game for
I
me.
liked. I mean, my favorite was obviously the Freestar Collective because like Space Cowboy,
Yeah.
please. But
Sp- yeah. Speaking of space cowboys, the Brotherhood of Steel, um, Quintus, he claims that he has a plan for the wasteland with cold fusion and Maximus by his side. From what we've heard, his plan is basically mass produce fusion cores so that he can have an army. That
yeah,
doesn't really sound like a sound plan. Do you think that he has more than that to his plan, or is it just
I don't think.
military?
I think he's just a militaristic guy. I really don't think there's more to him. Even though I really hope there is.
Yeah. And we get the line from Ma June in episode 5 that when the Brotherhood rolled into Philly, after they left, they burned the place to the ground. So they even look at these pockets of civilization, if you can even call Philly civilization, but at the very least, it's a town where people are living and it's not complete
Oh yeah,
wasteland.
Philly had like the same vibe as like Megaton.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like I would call that a town for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. And so you have these little areas that, despite not being pre war standards, people are living there. People are trying to make a better life for themselves out of this broken world. And the Brotherhood just rolls in and destroys it for seemingly no real reason.
Yeah.
It's sad. I if I haven't made it clear in this season of covering Fallout, I don't like the Brotherhood very much.
I can't stand the Brotherhood's like ethics code,
Yeah.
but their power armor. But their power, you know, it's just it's nice.
Yeah, that's why so many Fallout fanboys love the Enclave so much because they're so evil,
The
but at the same
the
time,
XO1,
the XO1, the XO2, the XO3, all of it, it's just sick power armor. So you can't beat the rule of cool.
that's what I like. Is being evil really that bad if you got some like nice ass grip on? Come on.
Uh, You know what? You have a great point there.
Like I slaughtered a village to get all this stuff, but I'm looking pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
So we need to talk a little bit about Thaddeus with these elders. Him just floundering, having a panic attack inside the power armor suit. It was fantastic.
Oh my god, yeah. I love that Johnny Pemberton is so good in that role too cuz he's just perfect for it. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Do you think we're going to see his nose fall off?
I I mean, hopefully at some point like if we could see the whole process of ghoulification in the show, that'd be sick as hell.
It would be, because when we get ghoulification as a mechanic for your player character in Fallout 76, it's just like an instant thing. You take the injection or the inhaler,
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah, you
is,
take the like serum thingy.
yeah, and you just become a ghoul.
Yeah, and I don't think in that game it doesn't like I don't think it fully ghoulifies you, right? Like you lose your nose, but I don't think you lose much else.
You know, you become like full on ghoul. I turned my
Oh.
76 character into one before I stopped playing. But I'll get back into it one of
Fallout.
these days.
Yeah, one of these days, maybe now that I'm on day shift.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. They've
Oh,
done
I
a lot
know.
of
I
work.
I like Fallout 76 to play with friends, but it's not something that like I would play alone.
Yeah, I understand that. It's definitely more fun when you play with other people. The events and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot
Cuz if
better.
I'm going to play a Fallout game, if I'm going to play a Fallout game alone, I'm just going to play 4 or 3 or New Vegas. Or I mean I could delve into the older ones, but I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, Fallout 1 and 2. It's rough. That's all I'll say. It's rough by modern standards.
I feel like New Vegas and 3 are too, just because of the sheer amount of like performance issues.
Oh, three the most out of the modern games because in that you can't even look down the sights of a gun. It just like zooms in a little bit when you
Oh my god, I hated that so much. I every time I boot up 3 on like my console, I'll remember that like, oh my god, I can't actually ADS. This is horrible. Bethesda, if you're listening, Todd, actually, if you're listening, um, give us ADS in the 3 remaster and the New Vegas, or no, New Vegas had it. Never mind.
What if I just hop on the train to Rockville and petition them in person?
Do it. Get
I, I
and
will.
and make sure that New Vegas remaster is coming.
I will. Don't worry. I'll give Todd Howard the what for.
Right.
Right. Anyways, the Civil War starts. Thaddeus immediately dips. He sees his moment. He's like, thank God something happened that I can just slip out. This shit is getting ridiculous. I don't blame him one bit. I'm surprised he held out as long as he did with all of those Brotherhood elders.
Yeah, I mean, I would have dipped. I wouldn't have gone back. Is I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah. I hope we get to see more of him. I know that we're going to see more of him because the trailers for this season had Thaddeus, Maximus, and the Ghoul like forming up a posse of Freeside residents and like
Um,
marching towards something.
next week would be cool if they want to get Lucy back, or maybe next week they find out where Lucy is and then they do all that.
Yeah. And the last thing I kind of want to talk about with the Brotherhood plot lines in this episode is when Thaddeus and Max meet up with Dane to do their final goodbyes. I hope Dane and Max get to reunite at some point. I like Dane's character for the most part. I was a little bit annoyed with them with their whole Max is too much of a rule follower stuff, which, yeah, to a certain extent, but also it didn't feel right for that character to be the one to say it after they were the one to hail Maximus as the Knight of the
I
Brotherhood, blah, blah, blah.
I think the proper one to say that Maximus is too straight and narrow would have been Thaddeus at this point, purely
Yeah,
because like now Thaddeus has not that he was on like the straight and narrow path, but he's deviated so far. I mean, he's a ghoul or becoming a ghoul at least. Like that's Brotherhood enemy number 1.
yeah.
They do not like ghouls. Smooth skins only.
Smooth skins only. I have a question for you.
Oh boy.
Maximus and Thaddeus run off. Thaddeus is in power armor. Maximus is not. Max, why did he not take a suit of power armor with him?
I don't know. I feel like maybe he just got caught up in the moment. But the other thing is, they should switch. Like ghouls are more resilient because they have actual healing, like a healing factor.
Yeah.
Maximus doesn't. He should be in the armor. Like what?
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they got caught up in the moment trying to escape all of those airships that were blasting each other out of the sky. So I guess maybe he just didn't have time, didn't think of it, whatever. He'll get a suit of power armor eventually.
It'd be sick if they ran into some raiders and he got like one of them had a set of the raider power armor. I've always been a fan of the raider power armor, honestly.
Yeah, I love anything in the Fallout games that looks kind of cobbled together and made out of scrap metal in the wasteland. I
Dude,
really mess with
that's
that
what
vibe.
that's what I'm talking about. Like and other games have done it before. Like 7 Days to Die had all sorts of cool scrap armor. You would have like a stop sign sticking out of your chest piece and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like that's the vibe. I,
it
I,
really
I do
is.
love like the real like put together outfits, but there's just something about the vibe of wearing like pure scrap armor that makes it better.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on what's going on with the Brotherhood? Any predictions before we move on to what's going on with Lucy and the Ghoul?
Um, Not anything like crazy prediction or anything, but like I don't want Thaddeus to die by the end of the season, and I'd like to see Maximus kill Quintus at the end of this season.
Yeah.
That's really all I got. What about you?
No, I don't really have anything. So let's move on to Lucy and the Ghoul. After being taken off the cross, Lucy is on the brink of death, but is nursed back to health by the NCR remnants up in the hills, and in the process, she develops a nasty addiction to drugs.
We've all
Lucy and
been
the
there.
Ghoul make their way to New Vegas, where they decide to take a shortcut onto the Strip, which is now infested with terrifying deathclaws. After running from the Deathclaws, the Ghoul drowns his sorrows in the atomic Wrangler, while Lucy acquires some gear and kicks her addiction in a kind of gross way. And when confronted with a difficult choice presented by Hank McClane's new minion, the Ghoul decides to turn Lucy over in exchange for his family's safety. However, Lucy doesn't really agree with that proposal.
Yeah, I actually have a question about the addict doll.
Yes.
Is that how it's functioned in like the lore? Obviously, you don't just start puking constantly in the game, I guess, but
Mhm.
like, has that always been the process, or did we not know?
I don't know if the puking was always part of it, but essentially, yeah, if you become addicted to drugs, because let's talk
Well, yeah,
about,
I knew a dick doll was in the games for the like I mean specifically just like the after effects of taking it.
yeah, that's not a part of the games. In the games, so in Fallout, there are chems, which are essentially just drugs. They call them chems in the games to, I don't know. I don't know if it was a rating thing. The games are rated M, so it might just be like a
I think
fun in
it's
universe thing.
yeah, I think it's like not even an attempt. It's just like world building, I guess.
Yeah, it's not really like they do call call drugs drugs on occasion, but chems is more wasteland slang for it.
Yeah, I feel like the only character that I can think of that has said, at least in the show, that has said the word drugs would be Vault Dwellers and the Ghoul,
Yeah,
like
which would
pre-war
make sense.
people.
Yeah. And yeah, addiction, it's a real mechanic in the games. Drugs have some awesome benefits to them in the games, and
They really do. It's wonderful,
yeah, you can get addicted, which has pretty negative side effects if you're not taking your drugs often. So
dude.
that's where Addictol comes in, which is literally just a drug and inhaler that magically cures your addictions.
Yeah, if you like to play with chems, get yourself a junkie super sledge, a set of power armor, and a shit ton of buff out.
Yep.
You'll tear
Which
through the wasteland. It's the best.
it is. And Buff Out essentially is Fallout's version of steroids. It adds to your endurance and whatnot. So,
Yeah, and I think it makes you. I don't know about steroids in real life. I have yet to try them. Uh, but buff out, I think, also like makes you pissy, or at least like more prone to anger. Which maybe steroids do that. Uh, you
yeah.
know, if anyone has any personal experience, let us know. You don't have to let us know if you did steroids, but like if you know,
If you know the science behind it,
yeah.
yeah.
We do not support doing drugs on radioactive ramblings. Those are
No, we
bad.
do not. Yes. Please stay away. There is no Addictol in real life.
Not yet.
But now that our Dare PSA is over, let's talk about their arrival in Vegas. They arrive at the gate to Freeside, or one of the gates to Freeside, and we talked a little bit about the Ghoulified Kings in the last episode because they were shown in the trailer. But these are Elvis impersonators who used to run Freeside. They're literally a gang of Elvis impersonators. You see their HQ when they're walking around Freeside in episode 5, the King's
Mhm.
School of Impersonation.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Like
Yeah.
I caught that, and I meant to ask you. It's in my notes app. I forgot.
And it seems like this isn't confirmed. It could just be someone in the same suit that was a part of the gang. But the guy with the guitar on his back in the kind of whitish cream colored suit, that is most likely the king himself, the leader of the gang.
Dude, Elvis survived the apocalypse. That's insane.
Well, just a big fan of his.
No, that's Elvis.
Yeah, that is Elvis himself. And we haven't seen him, but the king did have a dog, a robo dog named Rex.
I did not know. That's so awesome. What? I need to. Bethesda, drop this remaster, please. I know it's real.
It's probably real, but it's probably not happening next month. If we're gonna get a remaster,
It's gonna be
it'll be
3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can take comfort in knowing that someday you'll be able to play New Vegas in all of its modern glory.
Oh yeah.
Other than the Kings, we should talk about the Strip and Outer Vegas, specifically Freeside. It seems like there's some radiation going on, and I don't just say that because of what's happening with the Kings. When they're on the Strip, Lucy's Geiger counter is kind of going crazy, and I don't know if that's from the Death Claws. Death Claws emitting their own radiation would be a new thing, as far as I know. I don't think that they are radioactive. They're
No,
genetically
no.
engineered.
They've snuck up on me pretty easy before without the Geiger counter going crazy. I don't think that they do that.
Yeah. So that's either a new thing or the Death Claws migrated to the Strip because of the radiation, which would be interesting. They do like their little irradiated
That
dens.
that would make sense, like specifically because they have their irradiated dens. Like maybe there's a reason that the radiation got worse in the strip. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm not a radiologist.
A radiologist. Right. Well, are any of us really radiologists?
Um, no, no, it's not even a real thing. I just made that up on the spot.
I think radiology is a real thing, but I think it's like
No, it is.
that's when you take X-rays.
It's like medical. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
medically involved.
um, and when we talk to the bartender in the Atomic Wrangler, he talks about how the Death Claws migrated from Quarry Junction, which this is another New Vegas reference.
I know about this one actually. Because Quarry Junction is the fastest way to to New Vegas, right? From where you start.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
I was pretty sure that's why, because I went through Quarry Junction. I attempted to go through Quarry Junction, anyways.
It does not end well. It,
It definitely did end though.
it'll end your courier's life pretty
Yeah,
quickly
a
if you try and take that
Deathclaw.
shortcut.
Those things are so fast in New Vegas, and there's no need for that. Deathclaw whipped around a corner or some shit, and just I'm dead immediately.
Yeah, in Fallout 4 and 76, the newer titles, Deathclaws are kind of solitary creatures. In New Vegas, they're pack animals, so you have the strongest creature in the wasteland hunting you in a pack.
It's really scary.
It is, and I'm glad that they brought back that pack animal aspect of the Deathclaws because they are really intelligent and like social creatures. So it's cool to see that
Yeah,
detail.
aren't in 3 they're not like that, right?
I think the majority of the Deathclaws that we see in Fallout 3 are controlled by the Enclave with like a chip. Um,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
so not controlled very well, mind you, but they are somewhat under the Enclave's control.
Oh, yeah, cuz I'm trying to think of that could totally be like an evolution thing after a few hundred years in the wasteland. Like
Definitely.
in the desert, it would make sense that in a desert they kind of hunt together, whereas in the cities they don't even really need to hunt together because it's there are still more people, I guess, even in the wasteland cities.
Yeah, free dinners all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And I also really enjoyed how the bartender at the Wrangler just referred to the Death Claws moving in as a change in management. He's like, whatever, they're in charge of the strip now. We've dealt with it a million times. One group rolls in, they're in charge. Another group rolls in. As long as no one tries to make me pay taxes, it's fine with me. Whatever.
He's just so nonchalant about it.
He is. And if you recognize that actor, that is Ibrahim from The Bear. So, little
I'll
shout
watch
out
it
to The
there one
Bear.
day.
It's great. It's fast paced. You'll
I
probably
know.
get through it real quick if you watch
I
it.
know. I gotta finish a show that I'm on, and then I
Fair.
can start something new.
That's very fair. And quick little production note, the Death Claws are mostly practical. It's all like puppet work and a little bit of CGI to fill in the gaps. So I love the practical effects on this
Yeah.
show. All the power armor is practical. Now the death claws are practical.
Yeah, I mean, practical's the way to go if you can do it practical. CGI feel like looks goofy as hell sometimes. Like you just get a way better feel to it when it's practical.
Yeah.
Even the red scorpions. I saw Walton Goggins, my ghoul, my goat, talking about like when they were filming the Rad Scorpion scene in the like the abandoned hospital, he's got someone that's like 10 feet behind him that's like pulling on a string to make it jump off the shelf at him or whatever. And like stuff like that's super sick. I think that's so much better because like they care about what they do. And I think that is what makes it better.
That's what I really love about this show compared to other video game adaptation nonsense that happens out there is you can tell that the people who are making this really enjoy making it, and they're actually trying to create a good show and not just make cash grab slop. Like they're artists.
Yeah, I'm hoping it stays that way because the one thing I feel like that has happened a lot, maybe not a lot, but I'm thinking of one specific show, and that is Stranger Things. In the first, like it fell off as time went on. We all know that. We all know the ending was not great. People did not like the ending, and we're right
Yeah.
too. Like, but season 1, season 2, season 3 of Stranger Things were really good. And then season 4 was still pretty good, but like it had its moments. And season 5 was kind of a shit show. And like they I hope that doesn't happen with Fallout. I hope that they have a plan for like the ending that's going to make sense and that they don't try to drag it out just to make more money.
I don't think that they will. I think that they probably have a plan in mind. It seems like they know where their runway is gonna run out. You know, they have everything planned out. It seems like the story has a clearly defined beginning and middle and end. I trust the
Yeah.
writers here because they said it was going to be what, like either 4 or 5 seasons, something like that. So they know vaguely what's going to happen. If they want to do spin-offs from there, or not even necessarily a spin-off, but just a different story in this universe with the Fallout IP,
Yeah.
I would be happy with that, but I don't want to see them drag this out for sure.
Yeah, I would also be happy if we're talking about spin-offs and stuff. I would be happy with like an anthology series that's just like different vaults.
Ooh, that would be great.
Even without like vault dwellers going into the wasteland, just like give me an episode in each really fucked up vault.
That would be a great animated series.
Oh yeah, I mean with some of the experimentation, I think it has to be.
Yeah. No, that would be pretty cool. Um, let's talk about Lucy and the ghouls falling out.
Shut. This isn't anything too big to fall out for.
Did you like when he fell out the window?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of crazy that he fell out too.
We're done. We gotta pack it up.
New Vegas.
Oh, they need to shut us down, take us off the air.
Take you off the air. I'm cooking right now.
Before we get into their fallout, let's talk a little bit about Lucy's adventure in Freeside. She goes into this store called Sunny's, and a guy is there who it clearly is not Sunny. Um, the funniest thing ever in this episode, maybe even in this season, is when the guy goes in there and he has the clothes that are just completely
They
not
don't
fitting
fit
him.
him
And
at all.
she's like, who would rob a store naked? And he's like, people rob stores naked all the time. It's not that crazy.
Yeah, it's perfectly normal for someone to go in and rob a store naked.
Perfect.
Which, like, what the fuck? And like that shirt, that one button was holding on for dear life.
So good. It reminds me a lot of there's a character in New Vegas called Raul, and he is wearing a uniform from before the war, and it's like an old gas station worker uniform or something, and it's not his name. And you can ask him like, where'd you get that from? Who's Miguel? And he's like, whoever had the outfit before me. I don't know.
Yeah. That's fucking great.
Yeah. So she finds some pretty great stuff. I don't know if you noticed this, but all of the real prices on the stuff in the general store were crossed out, and everything in there was priced for 10,000 caps.
Oh yeah. I figured that the guy, the imposter guy, probably just marked everything up to try to scam people.
Yeah, which is just such a great representation of a wastelander's, like, their perception of buying and selling of economics is just, yeah, if I charge 10,000 caps for something worth 32, I guess people just have to come in here and give me 10,000 caps.
Yeah, I mean, it could work.
It could. I don't think it did, because even Lucy decided to steal that power fist in the Addictol. Granted, she was still in her addiction mode, so
I would have stolen the power fist. I really need to do better at stealing in Bethesda games, dude. I have barely been stealing in Oblivion.
what's a little lost karma if you're getting a power fist in exchange?
That's what I'm saying. Or like upgrading your stealth in those games is so worth it because who doesn't love pickpocketing someone and putting a live grenade on them?
That is one of my favorite mechanics in the Fallout games, is just reverse pickpocketing a grenade into someone's pocket.
Dude, you're just making sure they're stocked up. Doesn't
Exactly.
mean it's your fault when they accidentally pull the pin.
Here, take this free gift.
Yeah, take this free nuka grenade. It's
I
just a little something to
swear,
remember me by.
the pin is still in it.
Totally.
And then Lucy comes back to the Wrangler, where the ghoul and the snake oil salesman, who is now working for Hank involuntarily, is waiting with a message for the ghoul and Lucy. And he says, your father wants you to go back to the vault. He has a plan, and he just needs you to go back and wait it out in there. Hope this guy does not have more nukes at his disposal. He's gonna use them.
I think he's probably got at least one more, around.
Because if he was able to access a nuke while he was in Vault 31, or in Vault 33,
Yeah, now he's like completely free.
he's in HQ. He's got his stockpile if they've got him in there.
Oh yeah. And who's to say that his like mystery benefactor guy wouldn't help out on this one, wouldn't pitch in a little bit.
Yeah.
The Enclave, obviously.
It's got to be the Enclave. When we get into the pre-war stuff, everything that House is talking about, it's got to be the Enclave or some mysterious new faction, but I'm
I don't see them adding a new faction that's that important, you know?
that's true. It would be a huge 180. But yeah, anyway, we'll get to it later. I have thoughts about that.
Yeah.
But what did you think about Cooper slash the Ghoul taking that offer? Were you surprised, or was it pretty in
I
line with
wasn't
what you thought?
shocked. I mean, like a part of me wants to believe that Cooper would, if we're gonna separate him out into like the Cooper side and the Ghoul side, Cooper would have probably helped Lucy. Whereas the Ghoul, I mean, this is 200 years of him just focusing on getting his family back, meeting a vault dweller for I don't know 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and adventuring with her. I don't think would have been like was enough to like fully change his goals.
No.
So yeah, I kind of expected it. Like I hoped. I want to believe in the good, but I also totally knew.
Yeah, I think that whenever he ends up saved from his little impaling accident, he might wake up a better person. He might have a
I feel
little bit
like
of a
that.
change of heart.
Yeah, that could do it because of like Power Fist. Like, ow, that shit's gotta hurt.
Yeah. I wonder if next episode is going to be like him stuck on there, kind of reflecting on his life and the choices he's made. That would be a good, like, he's so near death that he is thinking about all the horrible things he's done in the wasteland, and then he wants to be better moving forward. That would be a great catalyst for him to continue the change that we've seen a little bit in this season and really run with it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Then again, I wouldn't say that what he did was morally super incorrect.
No, it's definitely one of those like more morally gray. Like it's still bad, but I would put it closer to being in the gray area.
Yeah. Because Lucy, she's not going to be killed. She's being sent back to the safety of her vault, and while that's not what she wants and not what should happen, that's in exchange for his family's safety. I could see it. I
It's
don't
it's
necessarily
not
blame
like
him.
he's killing her. Like
Yeah,
it's probably not a good thing because like helping Hank out that can't be good.
no. Which, speaking of Hank in this episode, he shows up in person. I wasn't expecting him to come and do the dirty work himself of bringing his daughter back. Is he going to bring her, do you think, back to his management vault that he's been squatting in?
I think so. We don't know where that is, right? Like we still have no actual clue.
The fact that he was able to show up so quickly makes me think that it is in Vegas somewhere.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking it could be under Freeside.
It could be, yeah, that would be a pretty good guess. And I've seen some people thinking it's that vault hotel that they showed in the pre-war flashbacks, which Mr.
Oh,
House did fill it with concrete. So maybe there's something under there that people don't need to be seeing.
yeah, that could be. Yeah, I did not know that Mr. House did all that.
Yeah, when he reopened the strip, he flooded the lower levels with concrete and turned the top levels of the vault into a hotel and casino.
Oh yeah, Hank's definitely chilling under there, and probably uh maybe even drilled through the or not drilled through, but like broke through the concrete. I mean,
Yeah,
he did have a suit of power armor.
yeah, he definitely could have done that. Um, and any final thoughts on Lucy and the Ghoul before we talk about the pre-war stuff? But we'll take a little ad break before we do that.
Nothing like major, just like I really liked their dynamic, and I'm thinking that the rest of the season and season 3 they're probably just going to be getting back to that to where they were. You know, they're not really going to like progress their relationship. They're
Yeah.
not going to be closer than that, I guess, until probably the end of the next season.
All right. Let's take a quick break and then we'll be back to talk about the pre-war stuff. And we are back with our pre war section, so let's get right into it. Cooper arrives in Las Vegas where he meets face to face with his target, Robert House. He is confronted with calculations about the end of the world, his family's role, and the secrets that will cast a shadow over total atomic annihilation. Should we talk about that episode 4 flashback with the demon in the snow?
That's all you, gang. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we on previous episodes have already discussed Operation Anchorage and what that is. Essentially, just pre-war times, right before the bombs drop. Essentially, China and America are fighting over Alaska. China occupies Anchorage, Alaska. They have to retake it. Liberty Prime, blah 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 blah. All of that stuff.
Communist detected.
Yeah, communists detected. One thing that I did want to talk about with that a little bit is the Chinese soldiers who are there. They talk a little bit about, you know, this suit of power armor that this poor bastard is in. That's going to be us pretty soon in one of these. China never actually got to develop their own power armor, but they did develop something equally deadly, which was Chinese stealth armor, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a
Oh yeah, isn't
camouflage suit.
that? Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't that make you like fully invisible? Or not? It's like a stealth boy.
Yeah, yeah. So brings you to pretty much near invisibility. You're essentially just a shimmer, a see-through shimmer. So it's pretty cool. So even though they didn't have power armor, they did have some equally cool tech, and yeah, but
And there was something a little crazy that was out
some
there.
something a little bit crazy. The demon in the snow itself. This was our first introduction in the show to a Deathclaw. A season and a half of waiting for one, and it was worth it. This is the first time we have ever seen a Deathclaw pre-war. We didn't know that they were actually used pre-war. We didn't know that they were deployed.
Yeah, I think we just knew that they existed.
Yes, they were at the very least being worked on by the US government and the defense contractors
Who then
that
became the Enclave.
yes, exactly. So we knew
Okay.
that the US government post-war as the Enclave was using death claws in combat, but we did not know that they would have been used pre-war. Uh, it does make sense that they would be testing it in Anchorage. This was the closest conflict to the bomb drop, so if it was going to be used anywhere, it would be used here right before the bombs fall. Any thoughts on this? Did you think it was appropriate? I've seen some people online saying this is ridiculous. Why would there be a death claw pre-war?
I so I haven't seen much of that, but like one of my friends, he's not as big into like some of the lore, so he didn't know that death claws have been in the lore as like a pre-war experiment for a while. So he thought it was kind of weird, and then I told him like I don't remember all the details, but blah 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 blah. Enclave, or at least pre-Enclave, Enclave developed them, and so it like does make sense. So I feel like the people complaining about it just aren't aware, I
Yeah.
guess, of like that bit of lore, because like I wasn't aware of that until you and I covered it in our one of our bestiary episodes, or maybe it was our Enclave episode. I don't remember.
Yeah. Um, I wonder if the death claws in this pre-war period, like, did they have some sort of method of control developed for them already? Is that why it didn't eat Cooper out of his little power armor shell?
That is a good question. I'm wondering if it's either that, or maybe they could have even been more just like intelligent, because they obviously, like, the Enclave had more state of the art facilities
Yeah.
at that, or at least safety precautions, I guess, than they
Yeah.
would in the wasteland, because they really just don't have.
They're not concerned with anyone's safety in the
Well,
waste.
yeah. That's a good way to put it.
It makes sense to me. I would imagine that there's going to be some kind of explanation for it because we're getting more scenes between House and Cooper, probably pre war and post war. I would imagine if House is still around post war. I can't imagine that they would cast House and have him be this important if he wasn't also going to be in his computer form post war.
Didn't we see a snippet of him in the computer form, or was that just like a? I thought there was something.
They might have in the trailer. I think you're right. I think that we did see the ghoul in front of the screen in the Lucky 38. So, yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're right on
something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which the Lucky 38, this is where we see Cooper and Barb go into and have their little party. This is House's control center. This is his casino. He runs all of Vegas from there, pretty much. It's where he builds his missile system. Speaking of House,
Yes, I
uh,
have a very important question about this.
yeah,
Is it worth it? Like, for Fake House, is it worth it? Do we think?
it's got to be worth it.
You think? I feel like his whole life is kind of ruined by that, aside from like private time, but even then, I feel like he'd have less time to himself.
Here's what I'll say about Fake House pretending to be someone for 10 years. Granted, you can't have a personal life. Like, you can't just walk out onto the street, go to a restaurant. You can't show up at McDonald's and get yourself a burger and some fries without everyone recognizing you because you are, in essence, a billionaire. That being said, despite not being able to have a personal life, if what's more important to you is living your life essentially as a billionaire, like you are just a
Yeah,
billionaire.
it does come with the luxury for sure.
Yeah, like you're probably hanging out with all sorts of other rich people and you're on a yacht all the time and you're doing all this public facing stuff. Let's talk about House's calculations a little bit. I've seen some confusion about this, and I'll be honest, I'm a little bit confused too. I think that what he was trying to say is that the calculations came together, saying that Janie's birthday was going to be the end of the world. because
Yeah.
they should be well past April 14th, 2065. The bombs drop on on October 23rd, 2077, and we see Janie is like 12 years old when the bombs drop. So I think the house is talking about like the past tense here. He's not saying the bombs are going to drop in 2065. That wouldn't make any sense for the timeline. And the creators have said, no, we're not changing the date that the bombs drop. It's the same day. Um, so I think it was just maybe framed a little bit strange, like so that April 14th date and then the
Right.
1 month jump ahead is like when the data is coming together or when the data says the world has ended. Maybe another framing of it that could work is that's the date that it was set in stone that the world ended.
Like
Like
events were set into motion.
exactly. Like that's the point
I
of no return.
That's kind of what I was just thinking about as we're like talking about this. So yeah, I think that's a perfectly great theory. I
Yeah.
I mean, I came up with it too. Let's go with that one.
Yeah. All right. We're both betting our points on this. I don't know if they'll ever come back to that. I'm sure that they will. House is all about his calculations and his math. So,
Yeah.
um
The one thing I will, while we're talking about the bombs being dropped, do we really want to know who dropped them? Like who actually did like drop the first bomb?
this is something that I was thinking about a little bit while I was watching the show. I rewatched the episode this morning. A big part of the Fallout lore was kind of this idea that we don't know who dropped the bombs, and we don't really need to know because in the end, the world is destroyed and it doesn't matter. So I
Yeah.
am more thinking that in season one, they introduced the idea that Vault Tech was going to drop the bombs themselves. And then maybe they thought about it and they were like, maybe we should backtrack this a little bit. Or maybe it was always their plan to not have that be the answer.
Right. I I like the idea of it being ambiguous. Like I think it really helps with the whole idea of like war being of how evil war is, you know? Like cuz then it's not putting that blame on like a specific group. It's more of just like the horrors of war.
Yeah.
I guess.
That being said, if the house that Robert House is talking about is the Enclave, that would
They
make
drop the
sense.
bombs.
They
Right.
would
Yeah.
drop the bombs. Like before the war, even the Enclave is not just simply the remnants of the US government. It's like a super secret society of pre war politicians and military personnel that believed the world was about to end for one reason or another. Maybe they knew it was going to end because they're the ones who did it. But their whole existence and their whole plan for the future of humanity hedged on the fact that the world is going to blow up and they're going to be the ones to put the pieces back together in some fucked up way.
Yeah.
So I think that would make sense. Let's talk about Cooper's bender a little bit. This was great.
Yeah, yeah, what a he thinks he's me. Thinks
Yeah,
he's
that was
me.
you yesterday.
Me yesterday. What did I do
Yeah.
yesterday?
You were at the Lucky 38 riding on the rocket ship. You were.
Oh my god. I thought you were like saying I did something like that yesterday. I was gonna
You
say
did, man. I saw you.
that
You
did
were at the
not
casino.
happen. I've never been to the casino. I've never been to the Lucky 38. I never knew Robert House. I just wanted a picture with him one time.
um, that's what they all say, man. That's what they all say. And when he concludes his bender, he wakes up with Barb and immediately says, "We need to talk." I'm so excited to see. I hope they do it in the next episode. Cooper lay his
I don't
cards
want to
out
see
on the
them do
table.
it next episode. I want to see them talk
No.
about the fucking the apocalypse. Like, what are you on about?
You know what? You're kicked off.
Horniest,
We're done with you.
horniest guy I know.
We're done with you. I'm kicking you from the podcast.
That's fair. I mean, AI
Yeah,
Richard does everything anyways.
he does. He replaces you in every episode, anyways. Um, You get maybe 1 minute of talking, and AI Richard replaces the rest with what I want you to say.
And all the minute of talking that I get is the spiel about how to contact us.
And even that I replace some weeks. God.
Wow, messed up, dude.
But no, I really hope that we get to see their conversation next week. I don't want to wait for it.
I'd be cool if like that's one of the things that he, like how you said, if next episode he's like on that pole the entire time, or at least for like a good amount of the episode.
On that poll, what are you talking about?
All right, sorry. If he's
It's a two-way
fucking
street, man.
impaled, if he's impaled like Mesmer himself came up and murked him. All
Yep,
right.
that's better.
Like
Thank you.
that would be a good flashback to include and probably to start with.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hell, that'd be even a good like open because they have been hitting on these opens every episode.
Yeah. It's really a testament to the writing of this show that the most interesting thing, or at least I think the most interesting part of a post-apocalyptic TV show, is the pre-war stuff. Like the
Yeah, that's rare.
it is. I think
Like
it's great.
I've never cared this much about something completely outside of like the Fallout universe that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like we get snippets of pre-war, like at the start of 4. Uh,
Most everything else is like lore terminals and stuff. I think that's really our Fallout 4 was our first real look into pre-war America.
yeah. Do you
Well,
think? And I guess this is something I want to add, just as like a game related question. Do you think Fallout 5 will have something similar?
I don't think so. I think that they're going to go back to the purely post-war stuff unless they wanted to do another character who was alive before the war, but I can't imagine that they'll want to do that again.
Yeah.
Unless they want to do like that the main character is a ghoul. That would be kind of cool.
I I would fuck with that actually. Or like I don't even know. There's so many like weird things that could be done in Fallout that I don't even. I'd play a raider even like at
Yeah.
least like you start off as a raider. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Because I kind of like the way that Starfield approached character creation, where your character has a past and you can choose your character's past.
Yeah,
Like,
like you can make like the adoring fan. You could do the thing where like you have a house on a nice planet, or like your parents are still alive, but you send them money. Stuff like
yeah,
that was cool.
it is cool. I mean, Fallout New Vegas, you can't choose your own background, but the player character does have a background, and there's certain dialogue options you can choose that hint at what the courier was doing before he got shot in the head. And
Yeah.
basically all of the DLC for New Vegas is you confronting the courier's past. So
Okay.
interesting stuff there. But anyway, any final thoughts on this pre-war stuff before we move on to the Vault Dwellers?
Nothing I haven't said before. I'm excited. I'm hyped.
Cool.
That's about all I got, I guess.
All right, let's talk about the Vault Dwellers a little bit. Stephanie and
Yes.
Betty, they're sparring over the future of the vaults. While Betty believes that the survival of their communities should take priority, Steph seems to think that following the Vault Tech directives, that's the only way through, or at least the only way through unless she gets what she wants. And on the other side of things, Norm is leading the 31ers through the wasteland and eventually gets to the Vault-Tec HQ, where he learns that his trio of vaults has a connection to Future Enterprise Ventures, which is a cover for the terrifying substance in the Fallout universe known as FEV, the Forced Evolutionary Virus.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about the forced evolutionary virus, we have an episode on it. Or at
We
least
do.
involving it. I believe that's the Enclave one.
I think we have like a super mutant
We do.
and
Yes, in the
FEV.
bestiary. You're
I
right.
one of those episodes. Maybe I'll link it in the description. If I remember while I'm editing tomorrow, I will add that in. But let's talk about these vaults. Woody, I love that he overhears Steph and Betty talking and then decides that the best course of action is to report Steph to herself.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. Although I'm glad that Chet is starting to figure stuff out, and I'm hoping that maybe he and Woody can like meet up and talk some stuff.
Yeah, I just hope that poor Woody doesn't get found in a trash can somewhere,
Like Sonny.
like Sonny. Yeah, I have a feeling that's where Woody's heading, but I hope not. I love Woody.
No, Woody's gonna head over to Vault 31.
Imagine he goes over there and he's like, "Damn, this place is empty."
Vault. No, he's gonna get magically sent off to Vault 31 to live
Yeah, Woody is on an exchange program to Vault 31.
with Norm.
Yeah, exactly. And Chet finds Steph's old USA Canadian annexed territory ID, which let's get into the lore of this just briefly.
Yes, I saw a TikTok, and I don't remember really what it was on, because this was like 2 weeks ago now. But it was about this, so I'd love to hear what you got.
So, before the war, the USA running out of resources, and they just decide that Canada isn't a very good neighbor because they have resources that they won't give for free. Um, sound
That's
familiar?
messed up.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Greenland. And so they just roll in and annex Canada and they overthrow the government of Mexico and essentially put in a puppet government to control all of the resources in Mexico. So prior to the war, the US has full control over Canada and partial control over Mexico. And during this time, in fact, in the opening of Fallout 1, there's an old news broadcast that plays where you literally see US soldiers in power armor executing Canadian protesters in the streets.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so if that tells you anything about the US government and military in the Fallout timeline,
They
not
are
good.
evil. The government is evil, folks.
Yeah, the government does not have your back in the Fallout universe, or it's up for
I was
debate in every
I was
other
gonna say
universe.
that the Fallout one.
Yeah.
They might be better, honestly, in Fallout sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. They are inexcusable in these games.
Yeah, they're doing some pretty awful stuff in these games. But, you know, don't like
And
to see how quickly the timelines
that
are merging.
that would never happen in real life, right?
Yeah, the government always has our back. They would never do anything against us.
Dude, that's what
Um,
Cyberpunk taught me.
yeah, exactly.
And corporations, of course.
Yeah. Well, Steph, she asks Betty to get her a box that belongs to Hank in exchange for the water in her vault. What could possibly be in this box? I have no good guesses.
Enclave communicator.
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
what I've been thinking the entire time. Enclave communicator, or like something related to his boss, at least, who I think is the Enclave, but
yeah. So that begs the question, does Barb have any connection to the Enclave, or is she kind of in the dark about all this?
I think, and this is one of my later like things, but whatever. Uh I think Barb is fully in the Enclave because like she's or again, obviously we know she's involved with the house, as Robbie Bobby puts it. Like I said, I believe the house is the Enclave. So yeah, I think Barb is knuckles deep, knee
I would
deep.
have to agree.
I
Yeah,
don't.
she's got something to do with it. Even if she is not like fully in the Enclave, I think that she at least knows about them and is maybe a point of contact. Maybe she doesn't really grasp the full extent of what is involved there. I don't know. But then again, I I don't want to characterize Barb as being like not knowing what's going on. She knows what's going on for the most. Like
Yeah,
she's fully involved. She's pretty evil. She knows what's happening.
I believe she was the one who said, "What if we drop the bombs ourselves?"
Yeah. So
So
it's
that's all I gotta say.
yeah. All right. Any thoughts on the vaults before we talk about Norm's expedition a little bit?
Um, dude, poor Davy.
Poor Davy.
It's so it's so hard. You know, you take a right and it's supposed to be a left. and then sometimes you're taking a left, and it's supposed to be a right. What do you
I would
do?
get confused too. I
Like,
that's
I do like though that that's like representative of the fact that they're all just kind of like cogs in the Vault Tech machine.
Yeah. They have their tasks that they were assigned at like the age of 10 years old, and they've just done one thing their whole lives to keep this really fragile community afloat.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, sometimes that has to involve fucking your cousin.
Sometimes it just has to, but as long as you're not reproducing, apparently that's fine. Just
Yeah, I don't like that. I think
yeah.
that's just wrong.
I like how they manage to bring up the cousin stuff so often. Like it's just so
Like even I keep wanting to call her Ella. Jesus Christ, Lucy, Lucy McLean. We'll say like cousins. We'll mention cousin stuff out in the wasteland to people who have no clue what that means.
yeah. I it's just kind of insane that we need to do a counter in this season. We need to go back and watch all the episodes and
I
keep track of how many
will do
times they
that.
mention that.
Uh, you know what? You do the season one. I'll do the series because I got to rewatch season one because I low key forgot some stuff. I think.
Okay. That's fair. All right, that's a deal. Um What do we I love that Norm's expedition is just surviving off of like junk food. They've got their Blamco mac and cheese, basically just Kraft mac and cheese and potato chips and all of
Wait a
this
minute.
other stuff. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Norm's from Vault 33, right?
Yes.
And they're on an expedition.
I didn't even think about that. That's a crazy connection. Crazy pull right there.
Yep. Number one game. It's the number one part of Fallout Season 2. It
Yep.
wins every award.
The best Fallout character or best Fallout plotline award goes to Expedition 33.
Yep. I'm not hating on the game for the viewers. I actually like the game so far, but
I haven't played.
it's a little wild.
It seems good. I haven't played it. I'll get around to it one of these days. Um,
Yeah, totally.
that's what I say all the time. And they run into Ma June and Barv from Philly, who fill them in on things. And
Her name was Barv.
her name is, yeah, the one who's like got the receding hairline. Her name is Barv.
I thought her name was Barb.
It's
That made
Barv.
so much more sense. Barv. And
Barv
they
and
keep
Ma
a
June.
roach farm, I guess.
They're not big enough for market. I love just the naive vault dweller stuff where they're like, "How big are they?" And she takes it as like, "Oh, are they ready yet?" She just goes, "No, not quite big enough for market, but they're getting there."
Yeah, it's just so insane. But that has been, and I'll talk about this more at the end. But that has been one of my favorite parts of the show, as I've said before. Like I love seeing clueless vault dwellers go into the world or into the
Yeah.
wasteland.
And Ma June even comments on that when she's explaining like, "Oh, NCR, Con territory, Enclave, Brotherhood," and Norma's just like, "What are you talking about?" Oh, I guess you Vaulties don't care much for current events.
It's like opening TikTok, and it's just like the comments section is like the orange peel theory. What are
Yeah,
you talking about? Like, I hate to be that guy. I have a job. What does that mean?
yeah, or when just the brain rot on TikTok. I can't keep up. I can't keep up with all these terms.
I unfortunately can keep up with the brain rot pretty good.
Everyone talking about getting their making their boyfriend use their gua sha. Like I don't really.
Oh,
There's just so
that's
much.
not brain rot that I'm on. I'm
Uh,
on like low genuinely.
yeah, it's just there's too much ridiculousness out there. I can't keep track.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was really sweet when they get up to the Vault-Tec offices and Norm is bonding with Claudia, the one who like joined Bud's Buds a week before the bombs dropped. I felt so bad for her. I can't imagine. This is the most terrifying part about post-apocalyptic stuff for me is just one day you wake up and the world that you knew, every little bit of comfort, every single thing that you enjoyed in this life and knew to be true is gone. And you have to adapt to a new environment that wants to kill you. Like everything you knew and loved and
Oh
thought
yeah,
was real was
it's
gone.
horrifying concept.
Terrifying. And like for her, the end of the world was literally a week ago. Like she has to grieve her pet, her parents, her friends, everyone that she loved in this life.
While also trying to adapt. It's just an insane concept.
Ronnie McCurtry, who is Bud's like personal assistant, this is the guy he knows. I think he knows about the forced evolutionary virus for sure and the real plan.
Yeah.
Phase 2 for the vaults, it's got to be turning them all into super mutants. Super managers must be just code for super mutants.
See, it could be. And that's what I'm thinking about though is like Claudia, right? She was working at Vault Tech for a week and she got invited into this thing.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
There's got to be a reason. Maybe, and this is like a stretch, but it might not be a stretch. Okay? Super mutants being controlled by the chips, right? That
That's
could be the
good.
plan. That could be the plan because a lot of these people they don't seem to have any like I shouldn't say any, but they don't seem to have a lot, I guess, of like skills. Skills necessary for navigating post-apocalyptic wastelands.
Yeah, they might be good administrators when it comes to like running a company. Even that's questionable though. And yeah, they truly they're not ready for this.
So it's definitely got to be like they just need warm bodies type thing.
Yeah, I would like that. I like that theory quite a lot. Um, and as soon as Norm finds out about the FEV, Ronnie calls him out and unplugs the computer and proceeds to knock him out by choking him with the computer wire.
Yeah,
The
that pissed me off. I was getting invested in like the puzzle or not the puzzle, I guess, but like the reveal and everything. I was so hyped.
Yeah, that brings me into our thoughts section, and I'll start off with one of my thoughts. Do we think that super mutant Norm is incoming?
I mean, it's possible. Definitely not soon, but it could be down the line a thing.
I I kind of hope that we get super mutant Norm. I can't lie.
I think it'd be interesting because then he'd actually be the super manager.
He would be the super manager. He is a genetically engineered super manager. And I think it would be even better if, because I'm guessing that Vault-Tec has like the pure FEV, the good stuff, so to speak. So if Norm gets dipped in the vat, imagine like if you're familiar, for the listeners at home, if you're familiar with like the Batman stuff where the Joker falls into a vat of acid, that is essentially what they do to make super mutants. They like dip you into a vat of green liquid and it mutates you into a super mutant. And the first generation super mutants that are made using the good stuff, they retain their intelligence. So I hope we get intelligent super mutant Norm. Thank you. That is my podcast. That is my TED Talk for today.
No, it's not. Your name is not Ted.
Um, my name is Hank McLean.
Oh, is it now? Okay, good to know. I'm Robert, Robbie Bobby House.
Bobby House. Ed, do you have any thoughts on this episode in general?
Um, not that I didn't already say. I think more Ghoul flashbacks next episode. I'm hyped for because of what was set up and Barb and Hank
Yeah.
Enclave. That's all I got.
I think the only thing I didn't mention other than Super Mutant Norm is that I really doubt House's calculations. He knows a lot, but I think he trusts in his own calculations a little bit too much.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
It's kind of like, I know you don't watch Foundation, but for anyone at home, he reminds me a lot of Harry Seldon, who he invents psychohistory in Foundation and puts together like calculations and math to predict the course of humanity and like
Oh,
major events that are going to happen. It's interesting. I think someone in the Discord mentioned that link too, that it was very Harry Seldon of him.
There is something, of course, because it does pull from Foundation quite a bit, and Dune and a few others. There's something like that in Sun Eater, and his name is Here Soon Changed, and he's interesting. He's an
Yeah,
interesting little fella.
interesting. Yeah, so lots of mathematical, I guess, um, what's the word I'm looking at? Mathematical anthropologists or mathematical, just, I don't know.
They do the numbers.
They do the numbers, they try and figure out what's going on with people based off of numbers, which whenever you have people reducing humans into numbers and calculations, it's never a good time.
It never works because, and this is the one thing that always gets me about this trope. It never works because they never account for human emotion.
Yup.
What are we doing? Every time? Really?
Every time. And I don't know if that's what's going to happen in this. I will say that Robert House definitely gets his calculations wrong because part of his plan was receiving this item called the platinum chip, which kind of brings his plans together and the bombs go off before he can get it delivered to him. So I think that he's off by at least a few days.
Yeah, for sure.
um, do you want to get into how you felt about the episode as a whole? Give us your professional review.
Oh, professional review. Yes,
We're
yes,
very
yes.
serious over here on
Mm,
Radioactive Ramblings.
yes. These episodes were quite exquisite. Yes. But they were pretty solid for their own reasons, of course. The first one, the Brotherhood plot, not carried, but it was definitely like the heavy hitter for episode 4. I'm really hyped to see what's next for Maximus and Thaddeus. The ghoul flashbacks in episode 4, but more in 5, have been absolutely insane. I mean, the way that they're done pretty like side by side with the current ghoul is just amazing. It's one of my favorite ways of doing flashbacks. I feel like that's kind of the best way to do it. Um, and then this is just kind of a jumble of random words, I guess. Lucy figuring out how the wasteland works has been and still is the like prime part of the show, in my opinion. It's a really cool mirror of like the first playthrough for most people's Fallout experiences, I guess, is like I feel like when you start playing Fallout, you're gonna try to solve things somewhat peacefully at least. Um versus like now if I'm playing Fallout, I'm low key just gonna start shooting if I have to. Like if I know I have to, I'm not even gonna try. So like I feel like that's a good part for like immersion almost. And I'd give episode 4 an 8, and I'd have to give episode 5 a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, peak.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said there. I really thought that these episodes were great. 4 was a really solid addition, some good progress in the Brotherhood of Steel storyline. Episode 5, that's where I really think the season found its strongest storytelling. The season has found its footing. I talked about it before, so I won't beat a dead horse over here, but the way that this show is able to weave together all of the pre-war stuff with Coop and the ghoul, it's just awesome. I don't know what else to say about it. It's art. And the conflict between the ghoul and Lucy is definitely going to define the season and what it looks like moving forward. And it's perhaps going to force the ghoul to come to terms with who he used to be. And I think episode 4 deserves a solid 7.5 out of 10. Episode 5 is my favorite episode in the entire series so far. So I'm going to give that a 9.5 out of 10, just like Richard from me. And I think it was a near perfect episode for this series.
Yeah. I mean, next week though, next week could do it.
Yeah.
Could be even better.
So I have gathered a couple of pieces of feedback from our little Discord forums. So let's jump into that real quick before we wrap up today. First, we have Sub Zero, who says, I'm convinced Max is Taverin or a Nexus being. He's so dumb sometimes, but everything he does seems to set off shockwaves. He should have killed Quintus. How the hell do you let an old man get the drop on you when you're the one pointing the gun? And why the hell didn't he grab a suit on the way out? Bringing Thaddeus back was a lot of fun, but I'm worried about those kids. Who's watching over them? Sad about only getting Kumail Nanjiani for one episode. I thought he was going to be a key character, but it turned out to only be a cameo.
Ooh, yeah. I actually wanted to talk about that last bit for sure. I love Kumail Nanjiani. Please help me out with the pronunciation if I'm wrong.
I think that was pretty good. Kumail Nanjiani.
But yeah, I think he's great. I think he's a great actor. I think he's fucking hilarious. I mean, I was really bummed when he died. Not bummed that his character died because like his character, like he deserved it. But I'm bummed that we don't get to see more of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like your point, Sub-Zero, about how the hell do you let an old man get the drop on you? Like, that's so true.
Dude, old, decaying, decrepit, old ass man.
Yeah, like Quintus, there was a day when he used to wear that power armor and he was probably formidable. I don't think that that's anymore. He has his like, I don't think we've ever talked about how weird his cane looks. It's like all spiky and has like barbed wire on it or something. It's really,
Let me
it,
like pull up a pic of the Quintus. If I search up
yeah,
Quintus Kane, will
maybe. But even like, he doesn't really use it as a cane that often. He kind of just like bangs on the table and waves it around.
I'm not going cane shopping. Google, what are we doing?
While you're looking for the cane, I'm going to read Cincinnati Joe's feedback. In a
Is
flashback last episode, White Knife talks about killing 3 people to save Cooper. Was that referring to the opening flashback of this episode where the demon kills 3 enemies and leaves Cooper to be rescued by White Knife? Maybe that's going to be the official story in another flashback to cover up this genetically engineered beast that the US seems to have used on their enemies. That's great. I didn't think about that, but now that you have brought that into my ear or into my brought that to my attention. We've
into
been
your
going too long.
noggin?
Yes, exactly. Now that that's been brought to me, that would make sense. That because officially they're not going to admit that they have death claws running around.
Hmm. Yeah, I cannot find this, but I'll take your word for it that it is a weird ass cane. I'm assuming he probably just uses it as a more as a weapon. But
Yeah,
the cane, I'd have to assume, especially knowing Quintus, like with how manipulative he is, I think it's just to like make people feel bad for him, low key.
yeah. If anyone is familiar with like Pycelle from Game of Thrones, the kind of an older man faking being a little bit on the feeble side to garner
Yeah,
some sympathy. That
yeah,
type.
but like
Yeah.
he's actually locked in the entire time.
Yeah. I don't know if Quintus is quite locked in, but he had some moves going on for sure.
Mhm.
And then finally, we have some feedback from Warren, who says the Freeside community was actually filmed in the same backlot as Sweetwater from Westworld. You can't really tell because they redid the buildings completely, but it's also where the show Deadwood was filmed. That's really cool, and that makes sense because the people who are behind Fallout are the creators of Westworld. So it's pretty cool. Little, I did not know that.
Yeah, that is fire though.
Anyways, Richard, you want to take us out?
We're gonna wrap up today. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone who wrote in the Discord. We're loving seeing all of the discussion in there. But before we let you guys go, just want to give a quick shout out to all the other podcasts on the network. First of all, the ones who make it all possible, our parent podcast, The Lorehounds. They are doing some coverage of The Pit, which I actually binged in like a week, and I'm loving it. The Pit is awesome. Go check
It's
out their
like
coverage.
the sorry, but
Yeah,
that's
go
like
ahead.
the doctor one or whatever, right?
It
With
is
Noah Wild.
something like that. I don't it's I know it's Noah something. No. Yeah, you
He
might be
was in
right.
the
Noah Wild.
Librarians. Like I used to watch that show.
Yeah. But it's a great show. I'm not typically a medical drama fan. I when I say not typically, I have hated every other medical show that I've tried to watch. It just doesn't connect with me. But this one is truly insane. It's so good. I have recommended it to like everyone who will listen.
You're telling
And
me
yeah, I'm telling you,
you've never watched Grey's Anatomy?
I have I've watched like 2 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. Could not get farther than that.
It's the One Piece of medical drama.
It really is. There's 500 seasons. I would say most medical shows fall into the category of like med slop, and this is
That's
not that.
slob.
This is
Yeah.
not med slop. It's well written. It's crazy. It's from what I've heard, and I haven't spoken to any real doctors, but from what I've seen online, it's pretty accurate as well in a lot of regards. So, yeah, go check out their coverage of that show. Also in the network are some pretty excellent podcasts like Wool Shift Dust, the Star Wars Canon Timeline podcast, Rings and Rituals, Properly Howard Movie Review, the Severance podcast, and Never Mind the Music. Links to all of these excellent podcasts and info on how to get a hold of us will be in the show notes. Actually, I have one more to add to that list. Not officially in the network yet, but I was listening to the Christmas special coverage from the Lorehounds that we were a part of. And joining the network is going to be an awesome podcast called Dungeons and Do-Rags. Those guys are awesome. I don't think that it is official yet. I think they're still working out some of the details of how they're going to be joining the network. But in any case, really awesome. Go and listen to the folks over on Dungeons and Do-Rags. And thank you for listening. We will be back next week. Don't forget to bring your power fist to fight some death claws. Thank you.